Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tapestry of Connection. I'm your host, Gina Francis, and I am thrilled and honored to have Reena Pathak with me today. Reena is a dear friend, and actually, she was one of the first people that in a reading with me saw that I would be doing this podcast. She is an incredible healer. She does ancestral healing, inner child healing, past life regressions, Reiki. She's a psychic medium, and she's so talented at every single bit of it. And you can find her at 6rascension.com. So I'm just so excited to welcome in my friend Reena. Hi, Reena.
Hi, Gina. Thank you. I'm really honored and blessed to be here. And you have done a brilliant job at introduction. I couldn't do it myself. Thank you.
Oh, it's all true. So I usually start, Reena, by asking people what led them on this journey to becoming a healer. Was there an instance in your life that you remember, or were you always connected?
I was born breech, and there is a belief in India that if you are born breech, then you have certain healing capabilities. And of course, my mom knew that. And then since childhood, I would heal her friends, like they'll come over to us, and my mom will tell me, you put your hands here or certain positions, and I'll do that. And then they'll be happy. Like I would hear from my mom that their pain disappeared, or whatever they came for, they were happy with. That was cured. So I didn't enjoy that as a child, because for me it was my playtime. I'm doing this in my playtime. I want to go out and play. And then, of course, then studies, college, university, everything takes over, and I forgot all about it. Until 2013, I lost my brother, and I saw when I went to visit my parents, and on his cremation, when I went to India, I saw his son, who was not even 1 year old, looking up, and like I could see in his eyes that he was feeling and sensing his dad there. And then I didn't say anything to anyone. I came back, and within, I think 15 days, he said certain things to me. Of course, spirit said certain things to me, which I would not have known. They were not about me. They were about certain people around me. And of course, I had to verify. And everything was true. And that's when I was intrigued to know what happens once you pass over. When it is past life regression, you can do. And I don't know why it came to me, but because when I was growing up, I had seen a show that used to play in India. Of course, that was in our mother tongue, Hindi. So I just wanted to do that. And there was none of these courses that I could connect to available in Ireland. I was living in Ireland at that time. So I had to come to UK. And hypnosis was the prereq. So I did hypnosis in Glasgow, and remaining training here in England. So that was just the beginning. And then there are so many other incidents through my clients. Initially, what I loved is you have to do case studies. And during those case studies, what I saw through the eyes of my clients, that was phenomenal. And I was able to see that, like normally you won't. And I was able to see what they were experiencing. And of course, they would validate those things. And that tells you that there is something that I need to explore more. And of course, there was a long journey of doing different modalities. And I did see a psychic after my brother, he passed away. And she said, you will do Reiki. And I was like, what? I just discounted it, and within few months I was doing Reiki with my daughter. That I don't know, but that's where, like, I don't know, one path opens and then another opens. Once as you get ready, those teachers show up, those courses show up, and you find the connections, and that's how it goes.
Absolutely. And I want to get to past life regression and all that stuff, but I did want to go back to sort of in your childhood. So it's extraordinary, I think, that as a small child, your mom was directing your healing and you were able to heal people. Do you remember? I know you've said you wanted to be out playing and so you didn't like, but do you remember, was that healing coming through your hands, or were you just unaware, you were just doing what they told you to do to heal? Because it sounds like you were a very powerful healer even as a child.
It was because I was doing my positioning my hands, so it must be my hands, but I remember nothing. I do know that I was positioning my hands, and They were, of course, feeling something, but I wasn't. Now I feel loads, and even if my client isn't feeling, at that time probably I was disconnected from that. But of course, it was working, whatever it needed to do.
And do you feel like because you were born and grew up in India, was that type of thing more accepted in India, or do you think it was just in the circle you were in with your family?
I think it's Indian people are more open to this type of stuff, like past life regression. That might take some time. Even when I'm doing here, some churches they're not even open to this idea. But in India, it's known. Everybody sort of believes that this is what happens. Karma, everyone believes. So it's easier. But where I lived, it was like all my neighbors, my mom's friends, they would come over.
And so you were very interested in past life regression, and that's something I don't think we've talked about on the podcast yet. Can you explain what that is? I know it's looking into past lives, but what happens with the client? You're hypnotizing them and then taking them back through their past lives, or just walk us through a little bit of what that is?
Usually, client would come to you, they would have an issue they want to deal with. I have very few clients who will come to me just because they want to experience some happy memories from their past lives. But generally, you would come with an issue and then you would regress your client based on that issue. Of course, it's under hypnosis because you want them to relax so they are able to tap into what they need to, but they are very aware. We are talking, they will be talking like this. They would have power to say no if they are not ready. I've seen clients who are not ready to forgive their family members when they meet them. That's another part of past life. So they are in control. I have seen in past life regression, ladies giving birth. It's like you will see their posture changes as if they are delivering a baby, and that would change on the bed in front of me. So you know how real and authentic it is. And some people, they are really afraid to go and experience it because they feel like, I do not want to go and experience that pain again. And I just would like to say, if you have very good regression therapist with you, you won't have to. It just comes for healing. You can dissociate and you can still heal it. Healing does happen. Now I've learned that healing does happen in past life readings as well. That's something else I'm offering now because I've done that as well. And I did not know that was possible.
Just so I'm understanding correctly, so the person that you're working with, they're under hypnosis, but they're talking and they're sharing. When they come out of the hypnosis, do they remember what you've talked about? Or do you have to, as the practitioner, say, this is what we looked at? Or do they remember when they come back? Do they speak of what they feel like after?
Yeah, they do remember everything.
Wow.
But of course, painless. Then you are able to talk through it. It's like my brother's passing away. There were for so many years, I would start talking about it and I'll start crying. Now I have gained the control. So things, as it starts to heal, I might cry some other day, I don't know, but everyone remembers. It's just because you don't carry that pain, that weight is gone.
And do you find also when you're doing, at least for me, I've had this a couple of times where I'm doing a Reiki session, and as I'm going over their body, I will hit on something that's from a past life I've had where it feels like I'm working on them and it's hard to explain, but suddenly I'm their eyes in that life and I am seeing what's happening in that life. And I know that that's a touch point that I need to put more energy into because it's coming through for us for a reason. But I wonder, do you have that too when you're doing Reiki?
Yes, definitely. Like I more do spiritual healing because I don't know what I am doing. I am directed, and every single session is different. So I just go with the flow. I use Reiki. I use integrated energy therapy. I use like whatever comes at that moment. But yes, I have seen everything. I have seen their current life as well. Those issues, like sometimes people, they don't want to talk through it. And I have seen so many things happening, which I have to then tell them because that has come for a reason that needs to be. And sometimes it is past life. Sometimes you see ancestral stuff as well. And of course, you have to work on yourself first before you can help somebody else.
Yeah, and that's a thread through all the sessions that I've had. First, the healer needs to work on self-healing before they can, and it's so true. I mean, I think most of us that wind up here, we have done a lot of self-healing, and then it makes you more able to access everything. So talk a little bit about ancestral healing and what that's like. How is that different than, say, the past life therapy?
For me, healing is your inner child healing. That's one. Then you have past life healing. And then third component is ancestral healing. Ancestral healing was introduced to me years ago. I was in Cork in Ireland, and as a part of past life regression therapy, we were told that we need to get our own regression done. We need to clean ourselves up before we can start the course. So I looked up and I found a past life regression therapist. So I went there. Her husband opened the door and he scanned me like this, and I was so scared. Why is he looking at me like this? What did I do wrong? And then his wife came and she said, stop doing it. And he was quiet. And I don't remember a thing about my past life regression session, but I do remember I spoke to him after that. And he was a live human X-ray. So he was scanning my body. He did make some adjustments in my body. He could see so many things. He was somebody whenever I need help, I'll just message him and I'll hear from him. We became good friends. So I was in touch until COVID. And then during COVID, I read the news that he is no more. So once I was talking to him, my mom, she wanted to pass her inheritance. And I was like, no. He said, you are not doing justice to your life and your karma if you say no. It's like through this inheritance, we carry over karmic debt from our parents as well. So you must not say no. I was like, okay. And he's like, you knew that subconsciously, and that's why you are saying no. So I was like, okay, I'll say yes now. I'll take, because you work on yourself and then you heal generations. And that's how I learned about, okay, ancestral healing. That's how it works. My mom, she didn't tell me. She went to an astrologer. That astrologer told her that she would do well, but she needs to be mindful of dark stuff. And my mom told that to me. And when I'm working with a client, everything is perfect. But when I'm working on myself, I could not go deep because that stuff was there. That fear was there. And it's not that my mom or that astrologer gave me that fear. It's just that they brought it to surface so I could deal with it. And that's what I worked on in my own ancestral healing. So in ancestral healing, you work on the patterns that you feel that they are coming. Okay, your mom had it. Your mom's mom had it. So that generational stuff, that's what you work on your ancestral healing. And you heal generations. You just don't heal yourself. And of course, any healing you do, everyone around you feels that some part of them also heals.
And just going back, just so I understand, the mentor that you had in Ireland, your mother was wanting to pass on an actual inheritance to you when she passed, and you didn't want to accept it?
Yes, that was before she passed. Like I have to tell you this now. My mom was psychic. I think her line was psychic, because if anybody is going to pass, and then she would know in advance. And I would always tell her I could not reach on time for my brother, for my dad. So I would go and tell her. I literally had an argument with her when I went for my dad, that when you go, you would know beforehand. You would tell me in advance and I'll come. And she would just smile. She never said yes. And I never understood. I thought that was her yes. She's smiling. I never understood until the day she passed. There was total lockdown in whole world. Friday night, the last flight landed from India. There was no other flight after that. Saturday morning, she's gone. And I could not go. And then I understood that that's why she would just smile. She'll never say yes.
because she knew.
Oh,
Oh, that's really hard. And I think you touch on a lot of people went through things with
yeah.
COVID where they could not say goodbye to their loved ones. And I honestly feel like there's a lot of healing that still needs to be done
True.
around what happened in COVID. It's like no one wants to really discuss it because the whole world was
Yes,
experiencing this mass, pain and hurt. But I'm so sorry you weren't able to be with her. But now we know that they're
yes,
always with us. And so when your brother passed, was your mom still
yes.
alive then?
My mom was there, dad was there.
Did you tell your mom that he had come to see you? That was your first mediumship experience?
Yes, he's aware. And it wasn't surprise to her.
Mm-hmm.
Now I recollect that time I didn't think about it like that. It's like, okay, she knows, and this is not unusual. I think maybe for her. So
Mm-hmm.
fine, yeah.
And so what would you say has been the most surprising learning experience you've had about yourself as you've gone through learning all these different modalities? Because it's like holding up a mirror too, right? Is there anything that was surprising to you or that was an epiphany for you?
Everything, every single thing. Of course, I was born breech, and that was not easy. But I had two major surgeries. One, I was 2.5 years old, and then 15 years old, and they were both major surgeries. So I think my brain completely shut down. So I do not remember any single thing from my childhood, nothing at all. And now when I work on myself, I meet my shadow part, I meet myself. I have so many childhood memories. And sometimes I feel like, oh, my mom, dad are not there. So there is nobody to confirm, but I know. So I keep working on myself. And those memories, I have no clue, no idea. Meeting my own shadow, that's an amazing experience. And this only started happening after I have dealt with that dark stuff, ancestral stuff.
And so, what would you say to people that I know some people are afraid to get in this type of work because of the dark stuff, like the stuff everyone would rather keep hidden or dark energies and things? What would you say to people that are hesitant to get into this type of work because they're not sure what they're opening up?
I think if you are afraid, then you can do so many things to protect yourself. And there was an astrologer who told me something, and that stayed with me. I don't remember anything else, but what he said: if your house is made of glass, somebody throws stones at you, then it's shattered. Whereas if it is made of solid brick wall, no matter what happens outside, whatever they throw at you, you are safe and protected. So main thing is, if I feel protected, nothing can happen to me. So main thing is me, myself. I still know when I have fear, I know it's inside me. That's something I need to work on. Nobody else can help me with that. But it took me time to even understand. If somebody would have told that to me, probably I would not have agreed. So, but now I know, and I've learned that. I don't have words to explain the joy you feel when you see spirit, because spirit is pure love. When we see our loved ones in spirit form, they show us anger or whatever, because that's something is familiar to you. That's something they're telling you, because then you are able to recognize them, whatever form they are showing. But genuinely, they are pure love.
Yeah. And so, are there any experiences that you've had with clients that you can share how spirit, works in these mysterious ways? Because I think people sometimes, when they hear that, they're like, okay, maybe the spirit world does exist.
Oh, definitely exist, because previously, of course, I would bring in angels, guardians, and beings of light and everyone for healing. That was me before. Now, I have seen, recently, I've seen loved ones joinings as well. And they would tell me, they would show some instances which did cause some issue, and then they'll work with me to heal. I think that gives your client some trust. That, oh, that is what happened, and yes, that something is happening. If for those people who are a bit skeptical, because otherwise energy does its work. no matter what. And sometimes we don't even know. Energy knows where it needs to go.
Yeah, that's always the thing I think about. And I just know I surrender and I allow because I am just the vessel. That's the part I think that people get tripped up on is they think it's them and it's not you. It's you are creating a space within your energy field to allow spiritual energy to flow through you as you. And so I think that's important for people who are learning this or who don't understand it, that energy goes where energy needs to go. And we are just the facilitator to take that energy and offer it to the person that we're working on. You gave a reading to me once before, and I just will share a little bit about that because you touched on something when you told me that I tend to get excited, and I don't know if you remember, but and it's like a balloon, and then my own self-doubt will poke the balloon and pop the balloon. And so you told me, you know, you need to be careful about popping that balloon and not doing it, not saying things to yourself that would, you know, cause you to let that deflate and not be happy. And so I just wanted to share with you that that's something I hold with me now. I hold with me all the time. And so when I start to think, and I start to, because I have the little chatter sometimes still, the self-doubt.
All of us have.
And then I think about Reena. Reena says, don't pop your balloon. Reena says, don't pop your balloon. So, you know, that's an instance where it seems small, but for the person that you give it to, that was exactly the way they needed to hear it and able to be able to take it inside of them and use it. And so I just thought that was fascinating that I was here. Reena says, don't pop your balloon, you know, be positive, don't pop the balloon. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Like that's spirit's magic, isn't it? They know what to deliver, how to deliver. We are just an instrument or a messenger, just passing the information.
Mm-hmm. And would you want to talk about any of your own past lives?
Well, I have had many, and one I do remember was BC, 1400, 1600 BC. And
Oh, wow.
there was a man on the horse, and he was beating me. And that's where I could not, like, I was so scared. And that session was being conducted by my teacher who was teaching us as well. So that was really, really painful, but it was really because of the two surgeries I had. Of course, my body became stiff, and that stiffness took me to that past life, wherein then my body slowly started to loosen up. Of course, it didn't happen like everything is loosen up, because I had to work more and more on my own stuff. But that was a big thing for me. That was a big release for me.
So when you work, do you have a primary clair that you use? Because I like to talk about the different clairs for people, because I mistakenly thought that clairvoyance was the top and, you know, the rest of them were kind of lesser. And I realize now that they're all equal. It's just we all use different parts of our clairs. One may be stronger than the other. So is there one for you that's more dominant than the others?
So clairvoyance was always mine. That's what I started with, because during past life regression, I would see things which my clients were experiencing. I do hear now. Sometimes I would hear, I feel it. And the feeling is, let's say I'm sitting with a client and I feel certain things. Somehow, if I don't pass it on, it stays with me. It's like I have to tell them, and I have to, sometimes I take my own time because I want to be certain. Then when I tell them, it's gone.
Yeah, I had an experience like that, and I work with a mentor, and we were practicing the other day, and he had me bring in someone from the spirit world, and it was a little boy that had gotten hit by a car, and I kept seeing and feeling and usually once I say it, goes away and everything, and so I finally just said, please take this feeling away, because it was, but if he kept showing me the accident, and I couldn't figure out because I'd gotten it right, so that should go. And then it turns out he needed to show me more because the message wasn't for my mentor, it was for the person that had seen him get hit by the car, who was my mentor's friend. And so he wouldn't give up on, I'm get chills now, he wouldn't give up on that scene because he needed me to go deeper with it, to go further, to see. And the message was something of, you couldn't do anything then. So it was just really fascinating to me because normally I'll say, okay, you can take that away now. Sometimes I'll verbalize it. You can take that away now. And then it disappears. But in this particular instance, it just kept coming back around, and because there was a reason. So spirit is wonderful in how it works. I don't know how. I'm still amazed at all the different ways.
Same.
Are you too?
Oh, same. And before the session starts with anyone, you don't even know what's going to happen, who is going to show up, whether they'll show up or not. You don't know.
You also work with chakras as well, and balancing people's chakras in the healing.
Yes, I do. I don't say it explicitly, but yes, I do work. Unless somebody is interested to know, then I'll mention. But normally I would scan the body using my hands, and then I'll know if there is any blockage or whatever. Of course, I'll say it again, I'm not medical intuitive, but I do see, I do find things, and then I'll mention with that caveat.
For people who might be a little bit open to exploring this work, either as to receive healing or to start learning, what would be your advice to them?
I would say go for it. And once you haven't experienced it, then you don't have to go to somebody who is very expensive. You can go to your nearest metaphysical store. There always somebody available there. There are people who are training, and sometimes they'll do for free. Sometimes it would be really nominal price, then you can easily pay. And if you tell them your situation, they'll agree. And sometimes I think most people, psychics online, they do offer clarity call, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You go for that. You will know what's right for you or what's not right for you once you speak to them. And if it's not right, you don't feel right, then you don't have to. But because you have that moment where you are intrigued, then you must try. It has come up for a reason.
So in addition to your healing work, is there another career that you've had in addition to this career?
I still have. So I am working full-time. I'm IT professional. So this work I do because I love it. I love it so much. I really want to give to community, give to people, help them. And initially when I started it, I was not able to charge. I would not charge anyone. And then it was again Colin, that same guy who told me about karmic philosophy, ancestry. He told me, you are doing disservice if you don't charge, because it's an energy exchange. If you don't exchange it properly, they are not gaining any much benefit. And that's when I started to charge. And it's like now I've gradually, when you evolve, you learn that you need to honor yourself as well.
Yeah, I struggled with that too for a long time. And I think a lot of us do, because you are doing it because you love it, and you are doing it because you want to help people. And, so then it feels at first like that's a disconnect. But it's a lesson for you to learn about yourself, that your time is valuable, that you are valuable, that all that you have studied is valuable. You've put in the time and the effort and the money to learn.
Oh, yes.
And so I do find for a lot of us that was hard in the beginning. And it's probably been one of my hardest lessons to learn, but you have to learn it because you're right. It is an energy exchange. It is an energy exchange. And all money is energy. I mean, everything is energy, right?
True. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my biggest lesson was receiving. I was so poor at receiving. And then you come to this. Oh, this was a big learning, big learning curve for me. And now I've learned, I do value myself. I do value my time. And once you value yourself, of course, everyone else would value too.
Oh, exactly. And I had a similar thing. I could give. It's just like when people give me compliments, I would deflect, same
Oh,
thing. That's receiving. Oh, no, I'm not these things. And it's like, no, you just need to learn to accept and say thank you, because that's all you have to do. Say, oh, thank you so much. But for me, it was a big struggle. Sometimes still is a struggle to receive.
same, I'm no different. My daughter has helped me a lot in these things. She is very much connected. She's very spiritual, very much connected, very much empath. So she can pick on one's energy, and then she knows that now she needs to get something done, and that's when she'll tell me.
No.
She'll ask me.
And what are some of the ways that people can access their own intuition? Because I think it's important for everybody to learn that we're all intuitive. We can all have this connection. Do you have any tips for ways that people can get in touch to start that self-healing?
Oh, definitely, yes. All you need is a quiet movement with yourself. That's all. And once you start, like you start somewhere, and slowly you will, once you have that experience, then it will automatically, you'll feel like you need to sit more and sit more. I do share on my Insta, I put channeled messages. I do it every Saturday. And if you follow them, that will teach you step by step how to connect with yourself. And you did say it right, that everyone is intuitive. It's like going to a gym, training. So we have trained those muscles, and everyone can train them. It's not that some people are born psychic, then you can't. Everyone can learn it.
And do you feel like people who come into this world like you, where you were automatically healing, and people that have had visions from the time they were little, do you think there's a past life connection to them already being, because if we're all psychic, but some of us don't discover it later, why do you think some people come in already wide open and stay open? Because you'll hear people in our field also that talk about, yeah, I was seeing people in my room when I was a kid, or I was hearing, and I saw the people who had passed on, but then they maybe shut it down because they don't understand what they're seeing. But I've heard some people say that that can be a connection to a past life. What's your thoughts on that?
I do know during my past life regression therapy course that we have studied a lot. I would say it's not rare, not that common, but it's not rare. And sometimes when you carry a big trauma or something, that stays with you. That's when you do remember. But when a child is born, they do remember. They have like a connection to their previous lives. Everything is connected. They are so connected to source, if you call that source or God, whatever, supreme. So they are very connected. So they are not completely in the new body yet.
Why do you think people suppress it? Is it because it's not accepted? What are your thoughts on why people push the ability down?
Yeah, I think in my case, I can talk about me. I was not aware. Not at all aware. If I knew, I would have never ever done it. I would have encouraged it. I didn't know. It's like not being aware. There are so many things my grandparents, my parents, they would do, and they would not reason it. So I knew certain things are to be done. And of course, I never questioned them. We never questioned them. Maybe if we asked them, we would have known, but there will be no reasoning, but certain things are done. And then you gradually, because you don't know the importance of these things, you just drop them on the way.
We're going through currently, whether it's astrologically or whatever you want to call it, just as a collective, I feel like there's this mass reckoning, or reckoning is the wrong word, but kind of, it's a very difficult time globally right now. And regardless of where you fall on any belief system, it's a difficult time for the world. And it does feel like, and I've said this before, that there are more people coming online to this type of work. Do you feel that too, that more people are starting to
Definitely.
awaken?
Yes, people are more connected. Thanks to social media and everything else as well, people are more connected, more aware as well. If you have a feeling, if you feel something, you can just Google and you know, oh, there is something. This is called something. And you can learn this thing, you can develop this. That is of course, that's the benefit of it. There are negatives as well, but I am seeing benefits as of now. But
And what would you tell people who are going through a rough time and not sort of understanding the way things are unfolding? Do you have any advice from the spiritual things that you've learned that you would want to share with them?
I can share, but what I would tell you that when you as a person, whosoever is, when you are going through it, I have experienced dark night of the soul. I don't know if you have heard about that. There is a
Yes.
dark night of the soul. I have experienced that. At that time, if somebody would have believed me that I would be sitting here with you, I would not, like, you can't talk to me now. I'm closed. So that can happen. But what I have learned now through my own experience is that everything comes for a reason. It comes for a healing. It comes only when you're ready to deal with it. You would find people who will be able to help you deal with it. So when I was doing my past life regression sessions, I did see that there are soul contracts and we decide our parents, we decide what type of people we want around us. So we will decide, okay, this is the person who will trigger me most. That is always your spouse and your kids. And then you would have certain people around you who would be your helpers. Okay, if I feel like this, then would you come around? So that's how you'll see certain people come in your life for certain time, and then you don't speak to them because you don't, like, you drift apart. That was their role. That's why it's same thing happens with our guides as well. Some guides, they do come and go. So it happens for a reason. And sometimes if we don't learn, it happens again and again and again until we have learned our lesson.
Absolutely. And I believe that as well, that wherever we come from before we're in these bodies and these suits, we do make a contract. Okay, I want to learn compassion, or I want to learn more about empathy, or I want to learn what betrayal feels like. Like we make those contracts, and then as it unfolds, it's meant to unfold because we ask for that lesson and we ask for certain people to come in and teach us. So that's helped me with certain things and understanding why they happen. But the dark night of the soul, it's quite intense when you're going through the dark night of the soul. But would you want to explain to people who might not know what that is, like what a dark night of the soul is?
For me, that happened after my mom's death, because that's when I was totally lost. I was the eldest daughter. I could not go. My two younger sisters, who were all alone doing everything, they caught COVID. So it was like, and I was alone. When you are with family, it's easier to eat with them, be with them. You cry, you laugh together, even though whatever is happening around you. But when you are alone, you are totally at loss. In one way, it did help. I would write notebooks and notebooks. So many notebooks I had written that time. I'll just keep crying, keep writing. And at that time, if someone is helping you, you still don't get it. You'll just come at everything and everyone.
It does eventually go after you learn what you need to learn while you're in there, but it's a tough time.
Yep. And generally what I have learned is we seek help outside. We would say, okay, he doesn't help me, she doesn't help me, she doesn't value me. But once you look inside, you will know that that's what you are doing to yourself. Once I value myself, automatically people will value me. I don't have time for this. No, you take time for yourself. Everything will happen because you'll have more energy. You charge your mobile every morning and if needed every night, but you don't charge yourself. How are you going to function?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Relationships are mirrors, right?
Oh,
They're mirrors of ourself and the things that we need to learn. So if suddenly everybody you're encountering that day is being mean and awful and cutting you off in traffic or just just being really negative, then there's something that I feel like hey, what's going on inside of me that I feel these emotions, because like you said, if I am feeling grateful, and that's the thing I try to remember, is that no matter what's going on, I can stay grateful. And so when something like that's going on, I got to go in and check in with myself. Like, am I not meditating? Am I tired? Am I hungry? What are the things that are happening inside of me that is manifesting this energy around me? And so just like the negative can manifest, the positive can manifest too. Once, like you said, once you're feeling better or grateful, then things flow with ease. But it's a process.
Yeah. And for people who are listening, you might question negative manifests easily and positive takes time. Yes, because we are mostly on the negative plane. So that's the frequency we are always vibrating. If we keep vibrating at the higher frequency, it's the channel we are tuning in. That's the music we'll hear. So that's what universe will play. So you have to uplift yourself. And that's what I do too, Gina, what you just described, that you just connect with yourself. Every morning I sit with myself. That's my inner child. That's my me time. I'll sit with myself and I'll check. Why are you feeling that way? What has happened? What is the trigger? And then I speak to myself and I work on healing myself. Of course, previously you would just blame everything around you, but now I know something in me has come up for healing. If I don't sit down, then it's going to grow. And nobody will like it.
Yeah. And to that end, there's something that I learned also in a program that I'm a part of. Even if someone is 95% wrong or 98% wrong, my job is to focus on my 5% or my 2%. I need to work on me. And even if somebody has done, like, I need to work on what my part was. Was my part not having boundaries? Was my part getting into the situation that I'm in? There's always a part that I have to play. And so if I look at myself, I will be plenty busy, So
Yes.
I think that's something to know. So I always say, what's my 5%? When I start to feel like, it's someone else's issue, well, what's my 5% in this? And then I'll evaluate and check in. And usually there's something, there's something there for me to take a look at.
That's a very good way to put it, Gina. Really good way. Like, even if, because that doesn't look heavy when you say even 5%, that doesn't even look heavy. I have a contribution energetically. And another thing is, you point a finger at somebody, there are so many three other fingers that are pointing to you.
Exactly. And you talked about spirit guides, and I think a lot of people are very interested, even people who aren't as into the stuff that we're into. A lot of people are into finding out their guides and then finding out their angels and stuff. So talk a little bit about your connection to guides and angels and what that's like.
Okay, so when I am doing healings, they automatically appear and I know them. I never was able to see them. And I would be like anyone, like a baby. Go to any teacher, who is my spirit guide, this, that. And it would they would tell me, but I was not happy. I want to see. And this did not happen until I worked on myself. So I cleared my stuff and now they just pop up in my morning meditation. I have met so many of my teachers, so many of my guides. And if I'm doing readings, sometimes like this morning, I was talking to somebody and their guide showed up. So I was talking to somebody and their guide was there. So it just happens now. So of course, everyone is eager. We all want to know. It happens when it has to happen. When you are ready, they'll show. And now they guide me.
It's funny, I relate like you. I would always go, I want to know my guy. Who are they? I want to see them. Like a small little child. And I'm still like a small little child in a lot of ways. But if someone's wanting to start that connection, what would you advise them to do? It's to work on themselves, but what would be, I feel like you need to ask, because they can't help you if you don't ask. So that's the first thing I would say. But what other guidance would you give for someone who's wanting to start at least opening that connection to be able to turn the dial to be able to hear them or see them or feel them.
Yeah. So one thing is that I have learned now is, of course, when we are at our lowest, that's when we need them most. But that's not how it happens. Because let's say you have a book on the top of library shelf and you want that book, you have to be able to reach that height so you can grab it, or you have to ask somebody who can reach there and they'll grab it for you. So that's what happens until you raise your vibration. They do help, they do bring their vibration low, but there is a certain extent they can do. So you have to bring your vibration up and then you can match somewhere. But when we are low, and that's when we need the most. I'm sorry to disappoint, but that's not when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it only started to really happen when I would put in the time for meditation and the time for quiet and stillness. And I think that's really hard in our day and age because we are just bombarded with all kinds of stimuli from all kinds of places. And it's very hard to disconnect yourself from those things. So I would say, even if you just give yourself 5 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes, it doesn't have to be this grand thing. Just start with 5 minutes. I can sit still for 5 minutes and just breathe. And then over time, maybe 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes and a little longer and a little longer. But it didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to happen. And it didn't happen exactly when I wanted it to happen. But it does happen. But it's taking the time to build the connection.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like any relationship. If you don't spend time building that relationship, then that relationship does not grow. So it's that relationship. So you have to spend effort, energy, and time to build that relationship, and you will not be disappointed.
And that's the thing I feel like when I connect, and it's just such a beautiful feeling of unconditional love and support and like a cocoon of light. Even though I don't see it, I feel it, and it's almost beyond explanation when you are finally able to tap into that resource. So is there anything we didn't talk about, Reena, that you would want to share about your experience?
One more example, how spirit works, that is magical. So it was 2018. My daughter was preparing for some entrance exams, and I learned that my dad was not well. He had dementia. So I learned he was not well, and I was like, that's the end. But then I spoke to his energy. Of course, he had dementia, so I couldn't speak to him. So I spoke to his energy. Daddy, she is doing exams. You would have to wait for me till she is finished. So she had exams, and it was her last exam. He came after the exam, and we left the center, and I turned on my mobile, and there was a call from my sister that my dad has passed. I don't know how it works, but it does work, and that's how it works.
But the comfort is knowing that they're always there. That's the thing, I think, for me. My dad visits a lot. He comes all the time. He just comes and hangs out sometimes while I'm doing this.
Yeah,
He'll come in.
He's there. Yes, that you have. He's in front of that.
Oh. And that's the beauty of the healing that happens, is that you realize this isn't the end. It's just, if they've gone on a trip or we've gone on a trip, it's just an extended trip, and then we'll all be back together at some point. And that brings me comfort too.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. So Reena, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, the best way is through your website, 6rascension.com. Is that the best way?
Yeah, that's perfect. And I have my Insta handle as well. I do spiritual healing, past life regression, past life readings and healing, ancestral healing, inner child healing, and of course, psychic readings as well. And If still in doubt, if you want something else, you can always reach out. And if not me, then we know somebody who is really good at doing certain things, and we can just guide guide each other.
And I highly recommend that you do, because Reena's amazing and gentle and kind and so much light and so much ability to help you as you walk your path. It's been an amazing time talking to you. I'm just so grateful for your support, your friendship, and your beautiful energy that you share. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Reena.
Thanks so much for being with us. And if you can, drop a like, follow, or share this podcast. If you need to get in touch with me, you can do so at spirituallightwisdom.com. Remember, we're all connected, and these are just some of the stories that weave us together. For the Tapestry of Connection, I'm Gina Francis. Until next time.